Hello, this is Dr. Mark Miravalle. I am here in Holy Trinity Abbey with Anne, a lay apostle, and we are discussing Volume 6, The Messages of Heaven Speaks to Families. And in particular, we will begin speaking about the messages of St. Joseph as he speaks to fathers. We'll begin with the June 14th, 2004 message and then ask Anne for her comments. These are the words of St. Joseph, and I quote, "I send the most affectionate greetings to my brothers and sisters on earth. I have come particularly to speak to fathers during this time of darkness. If you have been given a child or the care of a child, you must take responsibility for the formation and support of that child. I wish to share a glimpse of my family with you so that you can follow the example we have set. There were 3 of us, Jesus, Mary, and me, Joseph. I took responsibility as much as possible for the support of the family. We were poor, it is true, because we lived in difficult times, and for a time we were exiled. When you move to a land that is not your home, you are at a disadvantage, often with regard to work. That was the case with me. And while I was skilled at my profession, I found it difficult to obtain as much work as I would have liked. Nevertheless, I made enough to keep us, and we lived simply. I taught my son that work was to be enjoyed, and that through work a soul gave God great glory. I worked steadily and thoroughly, always being scrupulously honest and fair. My reputation was sound, and I would have been known as a just man, both professionally and personally. I understood that my responsibility to Jesus was important to the kingdom. I had the task of accompanying him through his precious childhood. Jesus, I must say, did not require any real correcting, because he was a most beautiful and sweet boy. His kindness brought tears to my eyes, sometimes many times in one day. I will say truly that he was an example to me. With that said, however, I also tried to be an example to him, and so must you be to your children. While I understand that you are not called upon to accompany Jesus through his childhood, you must understand that your child or children are equally precious in their humanity, because each little soul is of equal value in the kingdom. Each day and each moment of each day is an opportunity to teach your child what it is to be a follower in God's kingdom. If I were allowed, I could write pages and pages speaking only of the holiness of Mary, the mother of Christ. Can you imagine the honor that was mine? I was given the task of parenting with Mary as my partner. I will say briefly that Mary was the kindest, most gentle, and most humble woman ever created by God. You must not think that she was given these virtues or that it was easy for her. This was not the case. Mary sacrificed each day and practiced these virtues. She was another constant source of example to me. How could I have been anything but virtuous living with these 2 heavenly creatures? Fathers, mine is the honor of instructing you on leading your families to Christ. Thank our loving Father in heaven for this grace, because it is a very beautiful thing for him to allow. Treat these words with humility and reverence, and he, the God of all, will bring peace and joy to your families. You can be another pocket of holiness, as we were, and I will show you how. Remember that you have great and limitless help in heaven. Do not be discouraged if your family is struggling with worldly influence at this moment. I will help you, and together we will move towards the example that our little holy family has set for you. All is well. Let us begin. Anne, your comments.
There's serious grace with St. Joseph. Anytime you bump into St. Joseph, I find there's a serious amount of grace that comes forth. He's He's a contender.
He is incredible, Anne. He is, and you know, as the church teaches officially, he is the second saint after Our Lady. That means when Joseph was proclaimed the patron of the universal church by Leo XIII, saying that after the Blessed Mother, the mediatrix of all graces, no one has a greater power over the heart of Jesus than Saint Joseph.
Well, I believe it, because anytime I look for his help, I get instantaneous response, always. Now, he encourages men to take responsibility for the formation and support of the child. And this would be worthy of note, because often if a man is working, he can forget that the formation of the children is a goal he has to, tend to. If a mother is home and a father is working, the father might have a tendency to leave it to the mother, and vice versa, flipped. So both parents have to be attentive. You know what's beautiful? He said, I would have liked more work. Now we're hearing the same thing from all the saints. We heard Mary, an unknown saint, saying, I always thought I would have worked professionally. She didn't get, you don't get to pick. She didn't get what she wanted, what she thought. He says, I would have liked more work. But he didn't get what he wanted. He was maybe called to be more time with Jesus and Mary. So he would have liked to get more time working. Interesting. He says that the graces are limitless. Limitless. Now, I remember speaking to a woman once, and she said to me, oh, there's two things, if I had these two things, but she said they'd both be miracles. And she said, it's too much to ask for 2 miracles. You could have probably only get one. I said, Jesus could do 2 miracles in 5 minutes. So ask for 10 miracles if you need them. She got the 2 miracles. No problem. And St. Joseph is asking us to understand limitless assistance here. He calls their family a pocket of holiness. Now that's beautiful, because what it tells us is that even though the world might be misbehaving, if you will, or maybe it's off God's track, he is pointing at the ability of a family to be autonomous in the world. So we can maintain our holiness, we can retain our holiness, and be, this doesn't have to affect us or contaminate us.
Right. And he talks about the virtues that he had, and as you say, I mean, is it not apropos in this time of economic crisis that Joseph not only did not have as much work as he wanted, but he was in exile. How difficult would it be for the Jewish Joseph to get work in pagan Egypt at the time? And yet they had enough. But he's also, the personalist. He has this beautiful line about, yes, fathers today, you're not called to guard Jesus, but the words that our children, your child or children, are equally precious in their humanity, because each little soul is of equal value in the kingdom. We've got to think of our children as a little Jesus. And in the kingdom, every image of God is just as precious as any other children of God. And that's why, as you say, fathers have to be present. He's going to talk about that in these messages, that providing is one important thing, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the presence and the formation that he will say only fathers can give. Mothers give a special gift, and fathers give a special gift. That's why you're supposed to have both, God willing.
That's why it's good to have both. He also says that Jesus was an example to him. And I am sure that our children are examples to us, because we teach them something, they learn it, and then often they come back to us and say, but you said this. So it's good that we view our children as examples, as St. Joseph did.
And even from his first message saying, don't be discouraged if your family is struggling. We could add, join the party.
Yes.
Every family is struggling,
That's right. Yes.
but the graces are abundant. Thank you, Anne.